Only 3 regular season matches remain for the Grand Rapids Rise here in 2026. And despite a 2-7 start, Grand Rapids has charged back to keep their playoff hopes alive. Winners of 4 straight, the Rise need a win and some help in their pursuit of a second postseason trip in 3 years. From Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids, Michigan, it's the Grand Rapids Rise taking on the Atlanta Vibe right here on Rise Radio and Scripps Sports. And with that, we say good evening to you live from Beer City. She's Katie Olson, I'm Dan Hasty, and KO. The Rise may not control their own destiny, but there's still a chance.
There is still a chance, and they can only control what they can control, and right now, it is this game versus the Atlanta Vibe, and they have 2 fantastic pins running their team on the other side, and that is Leah Edmond and Aiko Jones. They're going to have to really find a way to hone in and focus on them if they're going to get this win.
These are 2 teams that have been going in kind of different directions over the last couple of weeks. Grand Rapids has won their last 4 matches. As of recently, they took down the Columbus Fury. On the other side, Atlanta's fallen in their last 3 matchups. So Grand Rapids trying to see if the hot can stay hot if you're on the Rise side and you're Kathy George.
They definitely want to stay hot, and if I'm on the Vibe side, I'm looking for that win. So you know that they're going to come out gritty and ready to play. So the Rise tonight have to keep up their defensive intensity, which they've been doing for the last 3-4 matches, and really bring that into playoffs.
So now we know about the matchup between these 2 teams. We also know that no matter what Atlanta's situation is, they're bringing one of the best outsides in all of planet volleyball. Leah Edmond is here.
She is so great on that outside pin. She is 3rd in the league in kills, and you know that that ball is gonna go to her all night. She has been the heartbeat of the Vibe since they started. She was their first signee. She's been there the last 3 years. So I would expect a very, very strong match from Leah Edmond.
There's some consideration to these 2 teams, and there's some symmetry, because you look at what Grand Rapids is. Of course, who was Leah Edmond's running mate during those first 2 seasons in Atlanta? Morgan Hentz, who now sits as the libero and one of the great liberos in all of Major League Volleyball. So it's sort of a reunion of sorts, but obviously there's still a whole lot on the line. Kind of helps you when you think that Morgan Hentz might have a little bit of a scouting report.
Yes, and she has been so great, and since they were traded over, which actually happened right before the last time we saw the Vibe here, Grand Rapids picked up Morgan Hentz. So you know that was the turning point for the Rise this season. They then went to be above 500 since they've had Hentz. So, you know, coming out tonight, she's definitely been with Leah Edmond the last 2 years previously, played against her in the gym, knows how she works. So that's going to be a little bit of an edge that the Rise have, but also the edge that the Vibe has, because she knows what it's like to play against Morgan Hentz.
And if you're playing against such a defensive-minded team, that's really been the reason why Grand Rapids has gone on this win streak. It's been grittiness, it's been digs, it's been blocks, doing it exactly the way Kathy George probably wants it.
Yes, I mean, she was speaking so highly of the last couple of matches. They had a record amount of digs. You're seeing their setter, Cameron Turner, set another record for digs. So it's just really, Morgan Hentz is getting everyone around them to really play their best defense, and it really shows in how they're able to get those wins.
Let's go ahead and give you first serve presented by Morning Bell. KO, the keys for the Rise in this contest tonight.
Hone in Leah Edmond. Figure it out early. She's going to get her kills, but being able to always get a block touch on those balls. And then also the other pin, Aiko Jones has been so fantastic recently. You're going to have to go pin to pin. Your middle blockers are going to have to work. And then for the Vibe side, figure out how to win those long rallies. You know that the Rise do not give up, so you have to figure out how to put down those kills during that time.
We see Kathy George also meeting at center court with Kayla Banwart, the head coach. Really do appreciate and wanted to say a big thank you to the people in communications for the Atlanta Vibe, who gave us an opportunity to chat with Kayla yesterday as we got ready for this match. Paige, Brennan, the whole gang, great stuff out of the folks from the Atlanta Vibe. Let's take a look at the starters for this contest. We'll start out with the Atlanta Vibe today. Taylor Smith will be one of the members on the outside. We also get a look at Shannon Shields. She'll be the setter. Leah Edmond, of course, the other outside. Aiko Jones is the opposite. Meanwhile, Jackie Moore gets a start for Kayla Banwarth's team today, as does Ellie McKissick. She'll play the libero. And then last but not least, it's the middle blocker extraordinaire, Maggie Mendelson. So again, Grand Rapids getting it ready for this contest, and here who they end up going with. No changes considering what they've done the last 4 matches. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, says Kathy George. Cam Turner, Paige Briggs-Romine, Morgan Hentz, Carly Snyder, Alyssa Jensen, and Elizabeth Inna, who has been spectacular for the Rise as we are underway. Serve is up, and well, before the point, we had a little too much music, and that's going to end up going to a reshot for Grand Rapids. Looked like an Atlanta point, so I don't think the Rise will complain about it too much. Now we're ready to go. Is they're ready for volleyball? We hope you are. Underway here in Atlanta. Right out of the gate, kept alive momentarily, and they will try with Inna, who swings and sends it too long. Somebody is really excited to play music tonight.
Yeah, I guess it's like the NBA. Don't they play with music going?
You know, they gave us a soundboard here, right here on the press box area. We are able to hit these buttons and make these sounds, but we do our best to think better of it. Here's a look for Carly Snyder, who swings and scores. Carly Snyder takes the first point for the Rise. You might be noticing, if you look at the Rise side, that they are clad in a bit of a different look, a little bit of a different color. They are going with their purple uniforms here today, or at least in the case of the libero Hentz. As this one gets pounded down, there's a point from the far side. Looked like Aiko Jones makes it 2-1 in favor of Atlanta. So you see Kayla Banwarth, the head coach, her team looking for a strong finish to this season. It has been a tough start the last couple of weeks. They've lost 3 straight matches by a 3-0 score, but they're off to a good start here thanks to some help from Leah Edmond. Make it 3-1 Atlanta, and by and large in all of those matches, KO, they've been close.
They have been. They took the mojo to over points.
Here's a shot that goes too strong, out of bounds. Couldn't hug that line. Didn't miss by a whole lot. As you get a look at all the great camera work that gets done on the sidelines here in Major League Volleyball. Done are the days of people standing on the lines with flags, not in the MLV, as this one gets pounded down out of the middle. Mendelson gets the point. It's 4-2 Atlanta. Well, who would have thought we'd been here after the 2-7 start for the Grand Rapids Rise? It was looking a little bit bleak on the GR side. Of course, they went out and they made the big trade for Morgan Hentz. So Edmond gets down to block that one and dig it out. Let's see if they try Paige Briggs-Romine. She swings and sends it too strong. Got a little bit of a rejection from the top of the netting. There's a look at our first official, Landry Homsher. Young Park is our second referee. Henry Chen and Jeff Turmel will be our scorers. Our official back in our studios on the radio side, as this one gets slammed in by Ramat Al-Hassan, Point Grand Rapids, is John Ilk, sporting a brand new plastic elbow. Happy to have John along for the ride. Happy to have him back in working order. 5-3, Rise are down by 2. Here's a look to the middle. Nearly got sent back from Al-Hassan. They'll tee it up to the middle, and Inna digs it back. Turner giving it up. That's a point for Grand Rapids. Paige Briggs-Romine, as Jones couldn't get the block down. It's 5-4. Now Elizabeth Inna gets the opportunity. And if there is a reason that Grand Rapids has caught fire here down the stretch, I think you're looking at it. Elizabeth Inna has been tremendous for this Rise team. Here's a swing and a point for the Vibe. Grand Rapids perhaps in the net that time?
Yeah, Al Hassan was just a little bit too close.
Make it 6-4, but Inna has been tremendous, and not only did they get great contributions from her over the last couple of matches, but they've also gotten them, as that one just misses the line, another service error for Atlanta. They've also gotten them from Carly Snyder. She was named the Major League Volleyball Player of the Week. Congratulations to Carly, who has saved her best for last here in 2026. Overpass, and it's still recovered for the point. Shannon Shields puts it down. It looked like the birthday party was about to start for Al Hassan, but the Vibe had other ideas. That's the aforementioned Taylor Smith. Hence, Turner in a blast it, and somehow it stays alive. Boy, that was a ricochet ball that the Vibe were able to find a chance to get over. This one's a swing and a score out of the middle. That's Shannon Shields again. An offensive spot here for someone who you don't often get offense from. The setter, 8-5 Atlanta in the first set. Big to see what Grand Rapids has been able to do, and boy, so far they have been able to dig a lot of the great Grand Rapids attempts. Got to give Atlanta a lot of credit. Can't dig that one, as Jones found herself back on her heels a little bit too much, and that ends up leading to a point. That was Edmond as well. So we see an 8-6 Atlanta lead. And now we see Ramat Al Hassan get a chance first time at the service line today. Near side, Edmond plants one down. That one sort of caught Inna. Make it 9-6 Atlanta. But so far their defense has been impressive.
It has, and I absolutely love when Edmond sees that seam and is able to capitalize on that swing.
When you're playing Grand Rapids, you have to play strong defensively. Fight fire with fire. And right now, the only thing that's really stopping Atlanta is issues from the service line, as that one gets sent a little long. One full rotation. Cam Turner's back to the stripe for the Rise. So many players have had breakouts towards the end of this Grand Rapids Rise season. Edmond can't get that one over. The Rise will take a second point. Make it 9-8, but we talked about Inna Snyder getting player of the week, but Cam Turner, ever since she's gotten that opportunity in the starting lineup, the team has made the most of it. Little traffic jam there as Edmond has to get it over with a soft shot. Little setter dump. Guess what? Cam Turner says, anything you can do, I can do better. We're tied at 9. 3 straight points for Grand Rapids. No surprise, Cam Turner getting in on the offense. Shields wants Jones, who plants one past the defending PBR. 10-9 Atlanta.
Aiko Jones has really developed her back row attack, being able to move it this season.
There's a couple of players that have been on the other side. Of course, we talked a little bit about Morgan Hens as Carly Snyder gets her first swing and score, or even at 10, where Snyder goes to the line. Raven Colvin, first rounder of the Rise last year, played for Grand Rapids last year, started the year this year for Atlanta. Got a chance to talk to Kayla about that, and Kayla Banwarth had a lot to say about her as that point goes to Grand Rapids, but will there be a challenge? The aforementioned Kayla Banwarth has a decision to make. Looks like they'll let it ride. First lead for the Rise. Shields looking for Edmond, who pounds it down in the corner. That's a thing of beauty. No surprise, if you're the Atlanta Vibe, given everything that's gone on the last handful of weeks, may as well just feed the beast that is Leah Edmond.
And when she is in system, she is so explosive at the net.
Turner for Snyder. Didn't get a whole lot behind that. They'll try the other side. Inna and Jensen tried to have other ideas. To the middle, kept alive, but not long enough as Hens and Turner tried to team up, but it falls in. And ironically with these two teams, and I think we've seen Grand Rapids take some steps forward in this area, especially over the last couple of weeks. You know, there was a prevailing thought with Grand Rapids as this one gets knocked down by Smith Another point for Atlanta. It was all about those high leverage points, not being able to get those in those big clutch situations. Grand Rapids has been able to get those the last couple of weeks, where maybe on the other side they've escaped a little bit of Atlanta. Turner for Inna, that's down, point Grand Rapids. Boy, when you, speaking of being in system, when you get it to Inna in a very strikeable spot, she has as much behind it as anybody in this league. There's Alyssa Jensen. Too strong. Service air for the Rise, their first one. Point goes back to Atlanta. There's Morgan Hentz. Now we'll look over at the other side, and Maggie Mendelson. Al Hassan didn't get what she wanted that time. This is an Atlanta team that has had some success. Great play by Turner. That might have fallen if she didn't get to it. Somehow she gets to this one. Playing a little self-defense perhaps that time. Saved it when it looked like it might be headed out. Smith swings and is blocked. Inna and Al Hassan. And that's the drawback when you have to attack from a little bit of space behind the net. Gives a little bit more reaction time if you're on that other side in the middle.
And Al Hassan did a great job of reaching her left hand and pressing in.
Riser down one. Did that catch a high hand? No, it did not. You know, sometimes you're so focused on trying to get it around those high hands that you end up sending it out of bounds, and we're tied at 14 because of it. Inna's had some really big matches the last couple of weeks for Grand Rapids. They have needed all hands on deck to try and climb out of what was a 2-7 start. Nearly a block, but Grand Rapids able to recover from it. PBR going with the changeup that time. But Smith is forced to send it back. It's out of bounds. Rise get back on top.
Just a couple out-of-system balls on the Vibe side, and they're not able to capitalize on them.
Rise with a 1-point lead. And now we're all even as Inna's serve goes into the tape. 15-15. Atlanta and Grand Rapids. These two teams have a bit of a history going all the way back to the first year of Rise Volleyball. Atlanta was a wrecking force in all of Major League Volleyball as Al Hassan takes that point, got it in the perfect spot, and the Rise are back on top. We'll talk a little bit about the season series when we come back, but first the timeout here from Van Andel. 1-point Rise lead here at the first set break, right here on Rise Radio and Scripps Sports. Welcome back, everybody. 16-15 in favor of Grand Rapids, whether you're listening along on Rise Radio or watching along on Scripps Sports tonight for our simulcast. Grand Rapids trying to find another bit of success against the team that's given them a bit of an up and down battle over the course of the 3 seasons here in Major League Volleyball. I think, is that fair to say?
Yes.
You think about what we saw in year 1. That was when Grand Rapids really had a lot of success against an Atlanta team that was demolishing the rest of Major League Volleyball, but Grand Rapids had a lot more success than, truthfully, most teams had. Great play by Inna to keep it alive. Other side, Snyder swings. Did he catch a hand? No, too strong, and Atlanta gets back in front. But then last season, Atlanta had the upper hand in this matchup. Tonight, we'll decide whether the Rise end up winning this season's series. They have a 2-1 lead. But there's an old saying that says a desperate team is a dangerous team, and you could almost make the argument that there's desperation on both sides, but Atlanta has no room for error. Turner wants Inna, who swings and it gets smacked straight back. We'll try the other side with Carly Snyder into the antenna. Point for Grand Rapids. Boy, this has been about as even a first set as we can remember in recent memory. Ramat Al-Hassan, a big re-addition for Grand Rapids. Getting her back has been huge. Other side, Edmond, almost unstoppable from that part of the floor.
Cam Turner blocking Leah Edmond is a perfect matchup for the Vibe. I would expect them to keep going back to her, especially when they're in system.
Jackie Moore from the stripe. Turner drops it off and Inna gets it caught. It's Taylor Smith. Other side, another point. Aiko Jones. 19-17 Atlanta. Caleb Anwarth was gracious enough to give us some time yesterday, and she said really what she's interested is most is seeing what her team does after they hit the 20-point mark. Here's a look on the near side for Edmond. That one's kept alive. Great diving play again. That's Smith at the net. Fight for it, coming right back, and it's still alive. Jensen couldn't get it down. And somehow Atlanta takes advantage. But Caleb Anwarth was saying she wants to see what her team does once they hit the 20-point mark. So here we are. All of a sudden, they've outscored Grand Rapids 5-2, and they put themselves up by 3. Timeout, Kathy George wants to talk about it. With a 3-point Atlanta lead. These are some high leverage points. Now, it's not a must-win set for Grand Rapids. We've sort of learned that the last couple of weeks. But if Grand Rapids is going to get back into this, what are they not doing right now? Or what is Atlanta doing right?
I think Grand Rapids needs to run their middles more. They are so in system right now, but they're very, very pin heavy, which is what the Vibe has seen out of the last couple games from the Rise, because it's Carly Snyder, Paige Biggs-Romine, and then Elizabeth Inna on the other pin. So really running those middles to open that up. And I think right now the Vibe, they're winning those long rallies, which the Rise are normally winning. So it's just a little bit of a switch up.
You know, we kind of noticed over this 4-game win streak, this 4-match win heater that the Rise have been on, it has felt like they've gotten those really hard-fought points, those long rallies that have taken up a lot of time and a lot of energy. So far, Atlanta's been able to get the best of them in that department. Turner sets it up. Jensen had it swatted, and Turner sends it to the back line. Near side, Edmond swings and scores. Atlanta getting comfortable here in the early go.
That was such a tough swing by Edmond. Having that ball sent from basically behind you, being able to track it and get the kill.
Be interesting to see what Kathy George does from the middle. Right now, probably hoping she can get a spark between Al-Hassan and Jensen. Maybe this can be the first one, or maybe not. Can they get it over? Yes, they can, thanks to Jones and Smith. Turner for Jensen. Again, another play to keep it going. Atlanta really frustrating Grand Rapids right now. A 5-point lead for the Vibe. It's their largest of the set. And with the way they're attacking and more importantly defending, there might be some adjustments that Kathy George might have to think about after this first set, depending on how it finishes. Aiko Jones. Turner for Snyder. And again, it's dug out. Try it not once, but twice. Unbelievable. Look at Atlanta go. Can Grand Rapids get this one? Yes, they can. Cross kill from Carly Snyder. I mean, look at what Atlanta has done defensively coming into this, you know, very quietly have been very effective when it comes to digs. They're third in Major League Volleyball in digs per set. What do we have here? Into the net goes Leah Edmond. There's a point for the Rise. So right now you're looking at 2 of the top 3 teams in the league in digs. So if you're on the Atlanta side, maybe it's like Morgan Hentz never left. You've gotten some nice work out of Ellie McKissick. Edmond pokes it over. Can Grand Rapids make it 3 straight? They give the point to Atlanta. Now, Kathy George is immediately going to argue that because it looks very much so like Atlanta may have been over the net. Are we going to get a whistle and a challenge on this?
It looks like they're discussing if they should challenge because they press a button on an iPad and then you will see the challenge pop up.
Well, the headsets are going on. Let's see if that tells us anything. Our first referee is Landry Homsher. I've not heard the announcement that we have a challenge, but everything else is suggesting that we have exactly that.
Grand Rapids is challenging reaching beyond the net.
So Grand Rapids is challenging reaching beyond the net. As Cam Turner went up to set that ball, she is a back row setter, so she can't break the plane of the net, where Leah Edmond came over to block that ball, because if it does break the plane of that net, then it's a fair play.
And at that point, doesn't matter who hits it first.
No,
okay,
if it has already broken the plane.
So as long as that is established, we'll get a pretty clear look, because in real time, even Kathy George kind of threw her hands up saying, well, wait a minute, something didn't look quite normal about that play. It almost looked like Cam Turner was either getting it ready to tee up or was interrupted by Atlanta. This is a big point at stake, because right now it's either a 4-point or it's a 2-point.
So you're watching Cam
After
Turner
review,
go up to set that ball.
The challenge is unsuccessful.
And Leah Edmond is pressing on it because it is at that breaking point of the net. It's a really, really hard call. I would say this is probably one of the hardest calls in volleyball. You're seeing Kathy George go up and say, I could see it. So it's a little bit of an argument here. The crowd is not loving it.
And for the record, I mean, this is a challenge that gets done at a replay center. So I understand the frustration, but those are deferred to Command Central as far as MLV is concerned. That's a big point for Atlanta either way. Grand Rapids has a whole lot of work to do, but Atlanta's defense has been the story thus far. Edmond swings. Diving play, guess who? Morgan Hentz. See if they can take advantage of it. Not yet. Another great play. This time it's Edmond. They bump it, and Turner unable to get that one down. McKissick this time, and it leads to an Atlanta point. Set point for the Vibe in number 1.
What a dig by McKissick. She came all the way in front of that 3-meter line to dig that ball.
Hard not to be impressed with what we've seen out of the Atlanta Vibe so far, as that one goes into the tape. Keeps the Rise alive momentarily, and it sends Carly Snyder to the line, who has that wicked right arm serve. But there's no room for error with her team facing set point. Back to the net it goes. It's a point for Grand Rapids, thanks to Paige Briggs-Romine. Happy birthday ball for Grand Rapids, and Atlanta is going to talk about it. Perhaps try to get out in front of some building Grand Rapids momentum. You know, all I can think about right now is the fact that, we'll talk about it for a moment, is the fact that, you know, with watching what Grand Rapids has gone through here in the first set, KO, it almost feels like what I imagine a lot of teams feel like when they play against the Grand Rapids Rise. A lot of blocks, a lot of digs, and a lot of frustration. And
then when you get points for the other team out of those, it's just, it kind of sucks the energy out of you a little bit. They seem to weigh just more than your average kill.
It's a 3-point set. Grand Rapids would need to reel off 3 in a row to get back in. And when you put Carly Snyder at the line, it certainly gives the Rise side some hope, but teams have done a really good job running her off the line. If they do it here, the Vibe will be set 1 winners. Poked over, chance for Grand Rapids. Can they take advantage with PBR? It is blocked. Iko Jones and the Atlanta Vibe give the Rise a taste of their own medicine. The Vibe gets set number 1. Second set is next, 1-0 in favor of Atlanta, right here on Rise Radio.
And it's time once again for Grand Rapids Rise Volleyball.
Caleb Anworth's team silencing the skeptics.
We have had a phenomenal team as we look to bring home a championship in season 3.
We're continuing to get better, and I'm really excited because we haven't played our best volleyball yet.
An entire season, all building to this.
Point, championship point.
All or nothing stakes on the biggest stage, and there can only be one
Before it all. Orlando wins the championship. The $1 million match.
It's the biggest moment in Major League Volleyball, and there's only one chance to witness it live. The Major League Volleyball semifinals and championship at Comerica Center, May 7th and 9th. Tickets available now.
The Atlanta Vibe having some success. The Atlanta Vibe through one set, using some defense as they were able to give Grand Rapids a showing of what has made Grand Rapids so red hot, and that's got to feel good for the Atlanta Vibe. Caleb Anworth's team had lost their last 3 matches, 3-0.
It does feel good on the Vibe side. They have double the amount of digs in that set than the Rise do. That does not happen very often as a defensive focused team that the Rise are. And Shannon Shields, boy, has she been running her offense efficiently. They're hitting 324, and you know that's a hard role to play because of her. She has been in and out splitting time with Avery Carlson all season. She just now recently stepped into that starting setting role.
We get ready for set number 2. Grand Rapids needs to find a way to climb out of a hole. Last time we were here at Van Andel Arena, Grand Rapids did exactly that. They ended up getting themselves 3 straight sets against the league's best, the Indy Ignite. And now they score point number 1 here in set number 2, thanks to Carly Schneider.
We did see a little bit of a lineup change. You're having Berkeley Oblad in instead of Alyssa Jensen. Oblad, the last time she played versus the Vibe, was very, very successful on the slide.
You know, Kathy George said something really interesting about Berkeley Oblad over the course of the early portion of the season. Great play by Turner, and somehow recovers to keep it going. But what Kathy George had to say about Berkeley Oblad was basically the fact that early on in the season, I think there was some hope that they would have gotten a chance to play her, but she was nursing an early season injury that really kind of took her out of commission. So now to be able to get her back and to be able to utilize her, especially in a spot like this. Great dig by Carly Snyder as Oblad still trying to shake off some of the rust, and we're even at 1 as that shot goes into the screen.
The Vibe are a tough team to block against if you are a middle, because you're constantly running pin to pin, pin to pin. It's a lot of movement for those middles.
Leah Edmonds' turn for the Vibe. Just a hair too strong. Wow, that was so close. And you can see just how close when you live in the world of MLV. So looking over some of those numbers from set number 1, 25-21 was the final. Grand Rapids hit pretty rough. It was about 13% to 28 for the Vibe. So they nearly, basically more than doubled up what Grand Rapids was able to do from an offensive perspective. Other side, Jones scores, and that evens us up at 2. Anything else stand out to you?
The digs, the amount of digs. You saw that the Vibe are putting up 10 more digs than the Rise did, and that does not happen often when you're playing.
This one comes way too strong off the right hand of Mendelson. Point for Grand Rapids. That's probably one of the areas that Caleb Anwarth would like to see her team clean up. That's 6 errors from the service stripe, 2 for Grand Rapids here in the early go. Paige Briggs-Romine gets a shot. With so many different members of this Rise team have been able to pick up Player of the Week awards. We were mentioning Paige Briggs-Romine, who gets back to the line as that one misses. On the Atlanta side, point goes to GR. It's 4-2. But Paige Briggs-Romine has picked one up. Carly Snyder has also taken one. It's been a couple different players on the Rise side this year. Morgan Hentz getting horizontal to dig that one out. And somehow McKissick able to keep it going at the net. And it goes right in towards Kathy George. She would play it if she could, but it goes as a point for the Vibe.
Wouldn't that be something? She just pulled out a platform.
I'm sure she's been fighting that instinct for years. She would never admit to it. Jones almost got it down with some help at the net. Instead, it's handled by Atlanta. Will they try the setter dump? They will. The pancake move from Hentz. That leads to a Grand Rapids point. Caleb Anwarth wasn't afraid to take a swing at that one. She knew that was going to be a tough one to get for Grand Rapids and Atlanta.
Seeing this deep shot off
Grand
the
Rapids
hand,
is challenging
just
a
out of
mid-rally
reach of
floor
Leah
touch.
Edmonds. It does look like we are having a challenge on that pancake.
So they're going to say that that one did not get the hand of Morgan Hentz, and it got the floor rather than the hand.
Which, you know, statistically speaking, pancakes, it's really, really hard to get your hand completely under that. So if you feel like maybe there's a chance, it's worth it.
It's been some busy moments here so far when it comes to challenges between Grand Rapids and Atlanta here. If you're just joining us, we are in set number 2. It's 1-0 in favor of the Atlanta Vibe, who used some really strong defense. And now
After review, the challenge is successful.
And the point goes back to Atlanta.
Yep, you see that Hentz's full hand was not underneath that ball. It looks like maybe a little piece of the ball touched that floor.
It's like that area right between where your first finger and your thumb sort of curl into one another. Might have been able to get the floor that time. So it's back to Aiko Jones. Hentz, Oblad, point, Grand Rapids. Boy, and one thing you notice about what Morgan Hentz has done so far is that she's really putting her body in positions to not just get the dig, but also to make it a quality dig, set her team up.
That is so important when you're playing defense, that you're not just getting touches on the ball, but the quality of that ball, so that it makes your setter, puts her in a better place.
Trying to keep everything in system, like the Vibe did on that play. Point goes on a big swing from Jackie Moore. 5-5, all tied. Grand Rapids and Atlanta, the Rise and the Vibe. Turner tried to surprise, but McKissick was there. Other side, Inna, ranging off the floor, goes PBR, and a free ball comes back to the Vibe. Shields, Edmond. And the Edmond-Hentz connection on that play sends it back to Atlanta. Point, other side, Atlanta takes it. Aiko Jones. Back and forth we go. It was late in set number 1 where we saw the Vibe pull away from Grand Rapids. They went on a hot streak after the 16-point timeout. Grand Rapids doesn't want it to get to that point. This time, Al Hassan's able to get it just inside the pancake attempt from Aiko Jones to tie us at 6. Boy, they've been better. I mean, we always knew that they would be better when Ramat Al Hassan came back, but I don't think it's a coincidence that they've reeled off as many wins as they have, given all the other complementary pieces who've improved.
She's such a strong blocker, which makes it a lot easier on the defense.
To the middle, this one's slammed down. Jackie Moore once more. We were talking about the fact that some of these players have played on the other side. Well, don't forget there's also some former Florida Gators here today. Not only do you have Carly Snyder and Ramat Al Hassan on the Grand Rapids side, but you've got Anna Dixon and Ellie McKissick for Atlanta, who also played at Florida. Point goes to Grand Rapids thanks to Carly Snyder. Seven, all even up. They tee it up and Mendelson slams it down. Maggie Mendelson. And Mendelson is an imposing figure. A rookie out of Penn State. Tasted a whole lot of success at the college level when you're a Nittany Lion. Turner leaves it for Inna. Got it in a great spot, but another dig. This time it's Shields. Edmond tries to return it. Grand Rapids has it. They'll look for PBR. It's a point for GR. Paige Briggs Romine, we're even at 8 as Berkeley Oblad re-enters for Morgan Hentz. You see Oblad right there in the middle. Big opportunity for her. She actually played last season as a member of the Vegas Thrill. We've got our first ace of the day. And it goes to Ramat Al Hassan. Al Hassan doing a little bit of everything so far. Maybe that'll be the spark that Grand Rapids is looking for. Right now, Atlanta has really controlled the tone and tempo of this contest. Let's see if they get it going with Jones. There's Snyder. Paige Briggs Romine. Again, it's down. I don't know how she got that one through the defense, but she sure did. 2-point lead for the Rise.
Her no-looky shot is so good, and she plays it so well, realizing that Shields came up on that ball.
Al Hassan once again. Turner, they need to get it over, and it's going to be too tough. Turner and Oblad tried to team up, but the ball was in a tough spot. This will be a big test for Kathy George. You think about the adjustments that'll need to be made on the Grand Rapids side if they're going to find a way to solve a very tough defensive-minded Atlanta team. It has to sort of feel like Kathy George, almost like they're sort of playing themselves right now. Very similar styles. And the way these two teams have brought it so far, it's almost like looking in a mirror. Leah Edmond gets the chance to serve. We're all tied at 10. Turner, wow, nobody knew which one to swing. That was Carly Snyder who had to free ball it back. And it goes as a Rise point thanks to Oblad. Cleans up the mess and the Rise are back on top. Elizabeth Inna's turn. Well, they would love to get her going here in the early go. She's actually hitting under zeros at the moment. She's been a big reason why this team's gotten so much success, as this time she sends it too strong. It seems like she'd been taking advantage of some of the last matchups. What are they doing so far to neutralize Elizabeth Inna?
They're blocking her strong points, and right now she's just swinging a little bit too low. Get back to that high swing and be able to attack like she normally does.
Turner for PBR. Sends it to the corner. There's a point for Grand Rapids. So Inna's having a bit of a struggle early on here. Still a lot of time. Carly Snyder's hitting 33%. Paige Briggs-Romine at 25. You go over to the other side. Shannon Shields is a perfect 1,000 from the setter position. Can they get it over? They cannot. Point Grand Rapids. They've also got Aiko Jones and Jackie Moore both hitting 50%. So the Rise will have to find a matchup they can exploit. PBR sends her serve into the net. Point for Atlanta. 13-12 Grand Rapids by 1. We're in set number 2. Let's see if Henson Snyder can find a way. Yes, they can. Put a little English on that ball, and the Rise are back up by 2. Ramat Al-Hassan just came in off the bench, went to high-five everybody, and it's a very aggressive high-five. I think she may have caught Elizabeth Inna on the side of the face. Other side, swing and score for the Vibe. This time it's Taylor Smith. If I had to pick somebody to be on the receiving end of a too aggressive high-five from, I think Ramat would be the last person I would wish to see on the other end. Elizabeth Inna, she misses the corner on that one. Boy, Inna off to a really rocky start here in the early go. Not something we've seen as of late. She has been the straw that has stirred the drink for the Grand Rapids Rise the last handful of weeks. We'll see if she's able to find a way to kick things back in gear. Edmond slams it, PBR digs it. Al-Hassan had that one, I think must have maybe misjudged it, but it's one too many hits for Grand Rapids. Atlanta storms back in front. See if they can get Snyder something. Not quite yet. But Al-Hassan can. That's a point for Grand Rapids, and we're all even at 15. Well, now you start to see the middles getting a little bit more involved for Grand Rapids. We've seen Al-Hassan start to rack up some points. She's hitting now 50%. They're going to need more where that came from. And a mishit goes as a point for Jackie Moore, and Atlanta takes a 1-point lead into the break. We'll step aside, quick 30-second timeout. 16-15, Atlanta by 1. They also have a 1-set lead here on Rise Radio and Scripps Sports. Back here in Grand Rapids, it's a 1-point lead for Atlanta, 1-set lead for the Vibe. They've got the serve. Here live from Grand Rapids, Michigan, Van Andel Arena, one of the great sports venues in all the west side of the state. Cam Turner found an inch and took a mile. We're even at 16. Another one of those setter dumps from Cam Turner. So at this juncture of set number 1, we actually saw Grand Rapids hold a 16-15 lead. Great play there as it's handled at the net. That goes as a point for Grand Rapids, and Leah Edmond immediately has a bone to pick with the officiating on that play. Will we get a challenge? Caleb Anwarth looks like she's going to do exactly that.
It's going to be
what it's worth, Atlanta's won every challenge so far today.
They have. It's
Atlanta is challenging, reaching beyond
it's
the
going to
net.
be a net violation. So it's the exact same play that we saw earlier that they won on the challenge, where Mendelson went up, and you know, she stands at 6'5", so you don't have to really reach over too much to touch that ball. But Cam Turner was going up to set that ball as a back row setter.
There's something about when the Rise and Vibe get together, it feels like, as we get our first look.
So right
After
there,
review,
you're seeing
the challenge is unsuccessful.
Mendelson's hands reach over that net. The ball never breaks the plane, so that is an unsuccessful challenge. Cam Turner did a great job of going straight up.
What is it when the Rise and Vibe get together? We have so much when it comes to officiating. We had a couple of plays a couple of years ago when Morgan Hentz laid out for a couple. Doesn't have to do any work on this one. An ace for Carly Snyder. Big swing for Grand Rapids, is serving ace. 18-16, and that's going to serve as essentially a second timeout for the Atlanta Vibe. So they'll take a timeout, they'll chat about it. We'll keep it right here because, you know, we talked about the fact that in set number 1, Grand Rapids went into that break up by 1, and then Atlanta hit the gas. So if you're Grand Rapids, what's the one thing you need to do, or what's the one player you need to make sure you get logged on in order to find a way to pay it back?
They need to serve tougher. I wrote that down going into this, and Carly Snyder came right out of that challenge and had an ace. That's what they have to do on that backcourt line. And then up front right now, they have their largest front row. So just really pressing over that block and not letting Edmond take off.
So can Grand Rapids find a way to get themselves a big swing or two? Carly Snyder jolts it over. Shields. Look at Morgan Hentz doing it again. Can it lead to a point? Not quite. Aiko Jones from distance. Turner able to dig it out. She had an amazing dig run during a couple of matches. She had 51 of them to be exact. How about a block in the meantime? Elizabeth Inna trying to get her going. May as well see if the defense can lead to offense for Grand Rapids.
That's exactly what you want to do as the Rise. You had Morgan Hentz pick up that tip, and then they're able to set that block up perfectly.
They're doing everything they can just to handle the difficult right arm serve of Carly Snyder. At the net, Paige Briggs-Romine looking for a high hand, and she found one. And you're looking for a high hand, it's probably not a bad idea to target the 6'5" Maggie Mendelson. She has high hands whether she wants them or not. And Snyder looks like she's in a nice rhythm from the service line. This one goes as a point for Atlanta. That one caught a fingertip on the Grand Rapids side, but a good run for Grand Rapids, and that puts them with the exact same lead that Atlanta had at this juncture in set number 1. Shannon Shields. PBR and Al Hassan. That's an alley-oop for Ramat Al Hassan. Serving sub in for Grand Rapids. Here comes Camila Gomez, who, if you know the story of the Grand Rapids Rise, go back a couple of seasons, and it was when Camila Gomez came in as the libero halfway through that season when they started to get red hot, much like they have been as of late. Here's a miss hit. Tried to go to Mendelson, couldn't get it over, and it's a 5-point Rise advantage. But Camila Gomez was really a spark plug in year 1.
She flies all over the court and is always talking. I love having her as a serving sub.
This time it goes into the net for Gomez. 4-point lead for Grand Rapids. Still in pretty good shape. As they'll get Al Hassan and Hentz, as Morgan Hentz returns for GR. Leah Edmond, one of the card-carrying members, and it's great to see in this case Edmond having stuck with Atlanta and been there for all 3 seasons. It's fun to see that continuity here in MLV. Point for Grand Rapids. That's Elizabeth Inna. 23-18. Could we see our match tied at 1? Inna gets it over. Shields looking out of the middle. Mendelson. Morgan Hentz was there. Can they add Paige Briggs-Romine? Yes, they can. Kill the lights here in Grand Rapids. It's set point in the second. The old coach's timeout during the set point, so Atlanta and Grand Rapids get an extra moment to talk about it. But really, I think what turned this second set for Grand Rapids was when Carly Snyder got in that rhythm from the stripe.
She was able to put that service pressure on the Vibe, which is not something that the Rise were doing very well in the first set and a half, and it has completely shifted the Vibe's game.
Well, you look, and we saw over the course of the first set, we saw Grand Rapids really struggle to hit. They only ended up hitting 13% to 28 on the Vibe side. That number for them really hasn't changed, but Grand Rapids has gotten more efficient, about 23%. So clearly that second set has been a little bit better off for them. Maybe some of the adjustments that Kathy George has made. Elizabeth Inna. Too strong. Edmond thought about playing it and then thought better of it.
Looks like we have a serving sub. Pia Timmer coming in for the Vibe.
The third-year former Cougar of Washington State. Grand Rapids looking to tie this match up at 1. What a play by Edmond to keep it going. Hentz looking to PBR for the kill. She's got it! PBR puts GR on the board. So Grand Rapids finds themselves with a 1-1 tie, and the person who just got the shot to send us into an even Steven set number 3 is here, Paige Briggs-Romine. Nice shot, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, so give us your wrap on what your take on those first 2 sets look like from your perspective.
Yeah, it's a scrappy game out there. We are touching everything, and they are touching everything. And it's really hard to find kills, so just staying patient is really the big thing that we've been talking about.
Sort of feels like you guys are looking in a mirror right now because you're so defensive-minded. It almost feels like Atlanta, it was sort of kind of giving it back to you in that first set, but you guys adjusted well.
Yeah, that feels strange. It feels strange. Like, how did they just get that? But I guess that's how teams feel when they play us, so that's really cool.
Yeah, it certainly does. And you guys are able to make the adjustments. What changed for you guys in that second set? How were you able to get that late run in the second set?
Yeah, I think in the first set we weren't really playing Rise volleyball, and we just stuck together. I think that's the big thing. I know we say that all the time, but just trusting the process and staying, knowing that we have enough to win this game.
You know, when you back it up with 4 straight wins and with this hot streak down the stretch, trusting in that person next to you gets a lot easier.
Yes, it does. And it's so much fun to pass for these people and watch them go up and just swing away. And that's how much trust I have. All I know is if I put the ball in the air for them, they'll get a kill. And it's great.
We're talking to her. She's winded. She's ready to get some rest. Let's go give her some. PBR, great second set. Go get him the rest of the way.
Thank you.
That's Paige Briggs-Romine here in Grand Rapids, trying to find if Grand Rapids can find a way to get a best of 3 now instead of a best of 5. It is the break. We are even at 1. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll be joined by Morgan Hentz, who joins us. We get to know one of the great liberos in all of Major League Volleyball. That continues on the other side of this timeout right here on Rise Radio and Scripps Sports. Rapids. Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids rise in volleyball.
If you love the speed, the power, the pure electricity of NCAA volleyball, experience it at the next level with the Atlanta Vibe. Watch world-class athletes firing rockets from the service line, diving for impossible saves, and battling point for point in the most exciting volleyball atmosphere anywhere. Catch the Vibe and get tickets now.
It's not just a sport, it's a calling. At Spalding, we've spent years crafting high-quality equipment that honors that passion. As the official net system supplier to Major League Volleyball, we're proud to support the game at its highest level, where precision, durability, and performance matter most. Because when you give your all, you deserve equipment that does too. Spalding Volleyball, trusted by generations, built for champions.
An entire season, all building to this.
Point, championship point.
All or nothing stakes on the biggest stage, and there can only be one
For it all. Orlando wins the championship. The $1 million match.
It's the biggest moment in Major League Volleyball, and there's only one chance to witness it live. The Major League Volleyball semifinals and championship at Comerica Center, May 7th and 9th. Tickets available now.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Grand Rapids Rise and volleyball fans everywhere. And obviously, if you know volleyball, I have a feeling you know the person to my left. That's Morgan Hentz, one of the great players in all of Major League Volleyball. She joins us now. She joins the Grand Rapids Rise now after a mid-season trade. Morgan, welcome to Grand Rapids.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
It's got to be so exciting to be in a spot where you're wanted mid-season. What was the trade like for you?
Yeah, it was a whirlwind. It's super fast, but it's been really fun so far. Everyone in the, not only the team, but like the city of Grand Rapids has been super welcoming, and yeah, that just makes my transition easier.
What did you know about Grand Rapids before you got here?
You know, not a ton, just from coming and playing a couple of times and staying downtown. But the area is beautiful, like tons of things to do, lots of great restaurants. So I'm excited to keep exploring more of the city.
And the experience in Major League Volleyball, the last 3 seasons, what's that been like for you?
I mean, it's been so fun. It's great to see the level of play get better and better each year. And I just think there's so much parity in the league, and you have to bring your A game every day if you want to win.
We were talking about this. Volleyball is a tight-knit community. Everybody seems to know everybody. So who did you know on the rise?
Yeah, I knew a couple players just through playing in Athletes Unlimited. Paige, Berkeley Oblad, and Allison Mayfield. We had played a little bit together in AU. And then I got to play with Sage this past summer in the USA gym. And then just from playing some people in college, like Carly and Ramat, I remember playing against them in a Final Four when they were at Florida. Yeah, but like everyone kind of knows everyone, which is fun.
Morgan Hentz, the 2-time Libero of the Year here in Major League Volleyball. I don't think, since this is a 2-minute timeout, that we have a chance to list all the accomplishments in your career, but what are you most proud of?
Just the relationships I've formed with teammates. They're really wonderful, and friends that I'll have for the rest of my life.
Morgan, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
That's Morgan Hentz, one of the great players in all of Major League Volleyball.
An entire season, all building to this.
Point, championship point.
All or nothing stakes on the biggest stage, and there can only be one
For it all. Orlando wins the championship. The $1 million match.
It's the biggest moment in Major League Volleyball, and there's only one chance to witness it live. The Major League Volleyball semifinals and championship at Comerica Center, May 7th and 9th. Tickets available now.
Caleb Banworth's team silencing the skeptics.
We have had a phenomenal team as we look to bring home a championship in season 3.
We're continuing to get better, and I'm really excited because we haven't played our best volleyball yet.
From your favorite athletes to your favorite music, listen to everything you love and so much more with the free iHeartRadio app. From live play-by-play to your favorite game day anthems and the biggest sports podcasts in the world, the iHeartRadio app lets you take it all with you and stay connected to your favorite team wherever you go. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
And it's time once again for Grand Rapids Rise Volleyball.
Back here at Van Andel Arena, we are ready for set number 3, all even at 1. Dan Hasty, Katie Olson, and KO. We were looking at some of the numbers, and we noticed that Elizabeth Inna, who had been so good in helping Grand Rapids take the last handful of matches, they've really made her a focus and a priority on the other side. Meanwhile, the Rise have deferred, and they've gone to Paige Briggs-Romine, who's picked up the slack.
And she's done a wonderful job. She had 6 kills, doubling the amount that she did in that second set.
Comes over and a chance right at the tape. And finally, the whistle goes.
Shaden Shields wasn't able to get that over on the swing. It was very aggressive, just not quite over the net. So then the next ball had to go over, and they weren't able to capitalize on it.
Whoever scored the first point each of the first 2 sets took that set when it was all said and done. Fight right at the net. Paige Briggs-Romine nearly was able to get it down, but instead, free ball. Carly Snyder, Al Hassan on the feed from Turner. Boy, we have really watched the chemistry blossom between those two, Turner and Al Hassan out of the middle. Carly Snyder once again. You see the topspin that ball comes down with. That time, did it catch a high hand? No. 3 in a row for the Rise.
Aiko Jones just got underneath that ball, wasn't able to get on top, and then just sailed out of bounds.
Here comes Carly Snyder once again. Oh, good play that time. That was Shields getting herself to the net. Usually you don't see a set like that. It kind of looked more like a bump set, but it was essentially taking it away from going into the net. That's what Atlanta has sort of done all match today. They've just stolen a point here and a point there. That's how they were able to rack them up to take the first set. You can tell that this is a team that, even despite its struggles as of late, is still very well coached. Caleb Banworth, 2025 MLV Coach of the Year. Not only that, but they've got a lot of championship pedigree on that coaching staff. Bird Kuhn who won with the Omaha Supernovas in year number 1, and an assistant on that staff. From the far side, Iko Jones lands it 2 straight for Atlanta, 3-2 Grand Rapids. And Bert Kuhn also acts as the general manager of that Vibe team. You were saying?
Looks like we had a pause on the court there. Shannon Shields, she did dive pretty hard on her side. I think she was just walking it off.
They're going to test it out, putting her right at the service line. Snyder didn't get it quite where she wanted to. Instead, Paige Briggs-Romine can't get it down. Other side, Edmond got it and lands it. 3 for the Rise, then 3 for Atlanta. We're even here in set 3. 3-3. Now we'll go with Shields once again. And they've been pretty efficient. They've had competitive numbers across the board. The one area that has been less competitive, another point for Atlanta, has just been simply the win-loss total. And we're not used to seeing that as far as Atlanta is concerned. They've been one of the more dominating teams here in Major League Volleyball, that they sit at 9-15 coming into the match tonight. Grand Rapids 11-14. Grand Rapids needs to win out to keep their postseason hopes alive. Inna gets one down, evens us up at 4. And we were kind of running the math before this contest, and a shout out to Alex Eisen, who is not only writing outstanding game notes each and every night, but he's also expecting his first child any moment now. Little baby girl on the way. Congratulations to Alex. Inna couldn't get it over. They tried to get it with Oblad. No swing there. Great dig. Carly Snyder keeps it going. At the net, PBR. Swings and overshoots the line. It didn't miss by much. But we were kind of going through the postseason scenarios, and there's 2 different teams that Grand Rapids is aiming to pass. They need to pass one in order to find themselves into the postseason. But that happy birthday ball has not been very favorable for Grand Rapids. They're able to get the point out of it anyway. But Grand Rapids might have left a couple of points on the board so far on those chances from the middle.
McKissick did a great job of lining up with the attacker on that overpass, just able to get her body in front of that.
But the 2 teams are Omaha and San Diego, as that one from Inna goes out of bounds. Service error. I don't think Atlanta wanted to get to it. Either they wanted to and didn't, and it went to their favor, or they got away from it.
They were trying to wave down the official saying they were wiping the floor, but he still called for a serve. So a little bit miscommunication.
Okay, so San Diego and Omaha are those 2 teams. Mojo currently hold 3rd place at 13-11. Is Oblad able to get it done on a slide play? Evens us up at 6. The Mojo are in the driver's seat. They control their own destiny, but they arguably face the toughest remaining schedules. They've got Indy and Dallas to deal with. And then after all of that, it could very well come down to the last match of the season, because guess which 2 teams happen to face off in the final match? San Diego v. Grand Rapids out on the West Coast. Another point for Atlanta makes it 7-6. Cross-court shot from Edmond. If San Diego finishes 1-3 down the stretch and Grand Rapids wins out, then both teams would end the regular season at 14-14 as Iko Jones goes into the screen. Tied up at 7 once again. In that scenario, the Rise would likely hold the match points tiebreaker, assuming all matches conclude in an unsurprising way. Out of the middle, Jackie Moore able to slam that one down. 8-7 Atlanta. But the Mojo could still close the gap by earning additional points in 5-set losses. Then you've got Omaha as another dynamic. This is the only game in Major League Volleyball tonight, as Al Hassan gets a little bit of help from the top of the tape. lands on the other side. Point Grand Rapids, we're even at 8. We're even at 1 set apiece. Cam Turner to serve. The Supernovas of Omaha currently hold the 4th and final playoff spot at 13-13. They've got 2 matches left. They host Columbus on the 24th, then they travel to Dallas on May the 1st. The clearest path for Grand Rapids is this one gets denied on a try from Al Hassan. Instead, Inna comes right back. Inna not once, but twice, and Grand Rapids takes the point. Inna caught a high hand, and the Rise are back in front. But if the Supernovas were to go 0-2, while Grand Rapids wins tonight and then their next 2 matches, that would pretty much make it a clear-cut Grand Rapids Rise trip to the postseason. Then they wouldn't have to rely on things like tiebreakers and the like. Far side, another point for GR. 10-8. Carly Snyder getting it done. But if you play the scenarios game, you sort of feel like that Charlie Day meme when he has all the pictures and lines and maps drawn in all the different directions. But the one thing is clear. The one thing that you can take away from all this, as the Rise take another point, is that really the only reason these options become anything of note is if the Rise win tonight's match.
They got to control what they can control, and that's the next 3 games in front of them.
Try to control that attack from Jackie Moore. Instead, they'll tee it up for Edmond, who swings and scores. When in doubt, punch the number 13 on your keypad. Leah Edmond scores for the Vibe. Jackie Moore to serve. How about Al Hassan? Somehow found a way to get it over, but it's out of bounds. Edmond's try for that double dig ends up going too far out of bounds. Grand Rapids sitting in the driver's seat here in this 3rd set. Last time we were here last week, it was Grand Rapids dropping set number 1 to the Indy Ignite before they reeled off 3 straight victories for the 2nd time. Carly Snyder to serve. Little bit of the tape right at the net. Inna lands it. Happy birthday to Elizabeth Inna. 13-9, Grand Rapids is up by 4. Timeout, Atlanta wants to talk about it. You know, Paige Briggs-Romine came over here, as we'll keep it right here, and she sort of said, you know, this is a scrappy, gritty, sort of heavyweight knockout sort of fight. And you see that Grand Rapids, much like a boxer in the early sets sort of feels out their opponent, Grand Rapids has sort of been feeling out Atlanta here over the last set and a half.
They have, and Atlanta's done a great job getting digs tonight. They are currently 11 ahead of the Rise, so they're playing the long ball. They're getting dig after dig after dig, which does frustrate the Rise, so you're seeing that in the hitting percentage. But then Paige Briggs-Romine was able to come alive in that 2nd set, and now we're gonna start seeing Inna get a couple points here.
I'm glad you mentioned the hitting percentage, because there was such a huge disparity between those 2 teams in that 1st set. 28 to 13%. Atlanta was really efficient. And ever since that 1st set, Grand Rapids has found a way to find more success. Both teams now sitting with the same mark. They're at 25 apiece. They've got a chance to tack on more as a free ball comes over. Turner for Snyder, attacks, and it lands. Carly Snyder, the MLV POW. 5-point lead for the Rise. Player of the Week award for Carly Snyder. She was an all-star last year. Can they keep it alive this time? Snyder, Turner, can it get over? Yes, it can. Atlanta looks to return the favor, and who else but Leah Edmond bangs one down. Boy, Leah Edmond, you know, we've been watching Elizabeth Inna the last couple of weeks, and when she gets a chance in system to be on the offensive, it's almost unstoppable. Leah Edmond's only been doing that for 3 years in this league. Long serve goes out of bounds off the hand of Shields. 5-point lead for the Rise, looking to see if they can stack 2 sets. The first set has gotten better in recent weeks for Grand Rapids. They had dropped a ton of first sets out of the gate. They've been better from that perspective. That one, an overpass or an underpass.
Just a little bit of a misset by Shields. She turned her body but didn't make that adjustment to the net.
16-10, Grand Rapids sitting in good shape here in set number 3. Atlanta's got its work cut out for them right here on Rise Radio and Scripps Sports. 16-10, the Rise with a 6-point lead back here in Beer City, USA. Grand Rapids, Michigan is the site. The Vibe and the Rise, two teams that have gotten to know each other very well in recent years. Go back to year number 1 in Major League Volleyball. Paige Briggs-Romine lands that one. 7-point lead for Grand Rapids. But the first year, Grand Rapids actually got hot late in year number 1, went to the postseason, and as the number 4 seed, took on the top-seeded Vibe and knocked them out, going to the championship match. That was the big stunner of the MLV postseason. We'll try to get Jones going, and this time it's dug out. Snyder attacks. Good play from Smith to keep it going. Aiko Jones handled by Al Hassan. Paige Briggs-Romine swings. How did they keep that one up? Other side, Edmond paws it. Diving play, Turner. Al Hassan tried to get it as well. And eventually it was one step too late for Grand Rapids. And it's a rally like that you can't help but appreciate on both sides.
Just a defensive-minded game on both the Rise and the Vibe side.
Leah Edmonds' turn for Atlanta. Briggs-Romine, Turner, back to PBR. Yes, indeed. Paige Briggs-Romine. 18-11 as PBR sets down a cold one. Anna just barely scrapes it over the net. Another chance. This time Taylor Smith gets it through the wickets of that Grand Rapids defense. We'll get some substitutions for Atlanta.
You got Pia Timmer going back to serve.
And give Kathy George and the Rise a lot of credit. After that first set, which Atlanta sort of cruised after the media timeout in, there was some necessary adjustments for Grand Rapids, and there's still some work to be done, but clearly they have changed up their approach. They've changed their MO a little, and if nothing else, offensively, they've sort of redirected where they've gone with the volleyball tonight. Instead of Elizabeth Inna, she's sort of been the complementary piece, and Paige Briggs-Romine's been doing more of the heavy lifting tonight for Grand Rapids. Slide play, Oblad connects. Berkeley Oblad back to a 6-point Grand Rapids lead. Briggs Romine hitting 32%, same number for Carly Snyder. And I think Oblad's been a help since she's come in for Grand Rapids. Briggs Romine serves, Shields for more. Point, Atlanta. Stayed in system and keeps it down. And you just never know when it comes to how you're going to find that rhythm with your setter, how it's going to unfold over the course of a given match. There have been some matches where Eliza Jensen has been enormous and has been huge for Grand Rapids. This time it's a point, another one from Berkeley Oblad, but
Oblad does such a great job of tracking down that slide play and stopping her body so that she's able to hit that line shot and doesn't over-rotate.
Isn't it interesting to see just how these matchups can get exploited? You just never know which one's going to come up big on any given night. This one goes for Taylor Smith, keeping Atlanta and keeping their hopes alive, 20-15.
Taylor Smith adds her 6th kill of the night, but she's been more of a defensive presence for them. She has 12 digs leading their team in that defensive effort, and here she goes to the back row to serve.
Ellie McKissick's got 10, 9 for Aiko Jones, 8 for Leah Edmond. You go to the other side, Grand Rapids only has 1 player with 10 digs. Might not be the name you'd expect, though. Carly Snyder has 10. Coming off that Player of the Week award. This time it's kept alive. Shields looking behind her. It's blocked and kept alive. No. Grand Rapids takes the point. Another block. Carly Snyder did it that time. The people of Grand Rapids love nothing more than a monster block. Tried to get it that time, couldn't do it. They'll tee it up for Snyder, who finds the floor. Don't look now, but Carly Snyder, number 4, finds the floor. She's heating up for Grand Rapids. Seven-point Grand Rapids lead. And Paige Briggs Romine even told us after that first set, you know, it was almost like playing against ourselves, as Hens is unable to get underneath that one. Point goes to Atlanta, but the Rise have done such a nice job over this 3rd set that they can basically afford to trade some points here to get to the finish line. But Paige Briggs Romine talked about how defensively talented Atlanta is. Had to feel important for them to get a set. They hadn't won a set in their last 3 matches. Here's a block. That's Elizabeth Inna. And the Rise are closing in on a set 3 W. Carly Snyder to the service line. It was her run in set 2 that helped the Rise even us up at 1. Overpass right towards the net. It's kept alive and they get it across. Snyder, Turner, PBR, taps, it's blocked. Mendelson and Shields. 6-point lead for the Rise. Atlanta still working to fight back. Whoever gets this one will have a chance to get it done. Here in 4, Grand Rapids has gone to 5 in a couple of their recent matches. They went to 5 against Columbus, not once but twice here in the month of April. Won one of those, lost the other. Good play by Snyder. That might have landed in. Anna takes the point and a high hand. It's set point in the 3rd for Grand Rapids. And slowly but surely, Elizabeth Inna's been getting back in a rhythm. They gave her a ton of opportunities early, and now they might be finding some success with her. Camila Gomez to serve as the Rise look for a set 3 win. Is it kept alive? I think a foot saved that one, and it saves the set for Grand Rapids. A happy accident for the Grand Rapids Rise. Bob Ross would be proud. An 8-point win for the Rise here in set 3. Set number 4 is next. Might need to take a second look at that one when we come back on Rise Radio and Scripps Sports.
And it's time once again for Grand Rapids Rise Volleyball.
Caleb Anworth's team silencing the skeptics.
We have had a phenomenal team as we look to bring home a championship in season 3.
We're continuing to get better, and I'm really excited because we haven't played our best volleyball yet.
An entire season, all building to this.
Point, championship point.
All or nothing stakes on the biggest stage, and there can only be one
For
champ.
it all. Orlando wins the championship. The $1 million match.
It's the biggest moment in Major League Volleyball, and there's only one chance to witness it live. The Major League Volleyball semifinals and championship at Comerica Center, May 7th and 9th. Tickets available now.
Who stole the cookie off the counter?
Getting ready for set number 4. Let's take a look at how that last set came to an end. What an amazing finish, because the power of the foot. Grand Rapids, thanks to Cam Turner, kept it alive, and sure enough, it falls in. Cam Turner's done a lot of great things on offense, but the only difference was that time, I don't think she intended to do it quite like that.
Are you gonna stat that as a dig for her? Technically, it's her foot. And a kill.
Best of both worlds. It's now 2-1 in favor of the Grand Rapids Rise. Dan Hasty, Katie Olson along with you from Van Andel. Big set to get there for Grand Rapids. It gives them the advantage. And look, when you're going up against an Atlanta team, and there have been many times where Atlanta has come in here expecting to post a victory, Grand Rapids certainly, I don't want to say would expect to do so, but right now with everything going in their favor, everything going in the direction of a postseason run, they knew they had to get this one tonight. Let's start set number 4. Shields pops it over, and we're back underway. Turner, how did she not get in the net? Iko Jones slams it down on a block. And the first point goes to Atlanta. Whoever has scored the first point has gone on to take said set. So Atlanta gets this one. Let's see if Grand Rapids can counter as Turner tees it up. Al Hassan somehow gets it sent back her way, and Atlanta gets 2 straight. So does Grand Rapids try to get back into the form that they were in over the last 4 matches, where they go and they try to feed Elizabeth Inna, or do they continue with what's worked here tonight? Maybe send it towards the likes of Snyder and Briggs-Romine. First point for Grand Rapids goes on a service error to the Vibe. Ramad Al-Hassan for Grand Rapids. Shields to the middle. It's blocked. Berkeley Oblad, and we're even at 2. Boy, Oblad's been a nice addition after coming in that second set. Hitting 375. That's her second block. Her and Al-Hassan now have combined for 5 of those. They've got 7 as a team. 4 for the Vibe tonight. Shields for Edmonds. Found a way to get it over that high hand of the Grand Rapids defense. Leah Edmonds scores, and it's 3-2 Vibe. Well, no matter what the situation for the Atlanta Vibe, you can throw the records out. Leah Edmonds always bringing such a high level of play to every match she participates in. Oblad got it blocked from the middle. Maggie Mendelson. Back and forth we go here in set 4. 4-2 Atlanta. Edmonds, one of those players that we've seen every year here with the Vibe. Of course, she's built a great following out there in Atlanta. Briggs-Romine swings it's kept alive. But they've done a lot of really good things to endear themselves to the community out in Atlanta. Look out. Pence and Inna nearly went into one another. They're able to stay alive to see this point continue. Grand Rapids does not want to get down by 3. Briggs-Romine will make sure it's a 1-point set. Going back to Leah Edmonds, she was the league MVP back in year number 1 here in Major League Volleyball. She is the face of volleyball in Atlanta, and in a lot of ways in Major League Volleyball as well. Inna swings and sends one out of bounds. Service error, that point goes right back to the Vibe. Well, in the last 2 sets, Grand Rapids has found a way to catch some lightning in a bottle. They've been able to stack some runs together to make it easy on themselves. They might need one more of those here in the 4th set. Slide play, Oblad got it out of her normal sweet spot, and that goes into the net. Well, it's a pretty good start for Atlanta so far.
They're really putting the pressure on the Rise. The serve receive is breaking down, making it more challenging for Turner to set a couple of these balls. That last ball that she just set, she was running the other direction, so it's making it a little more challenging.
Maggie Mendelson. Snyder, Inna, too low, another point. I'm not sure if that was a block or if it just wasn't high enough. And again, the drawbacks from trying to fight and attack from distance. Grand Rapids now finds themselves down by more than they've been ever since the 1st set. Can they battle back? Paige Briggs-Romine will help that effort. Boy, PBR is really carrying the load for Grand Rapids tonight. And it's really like the volume of swings. You think about just how many opportunities she's had, especially ever since that 2nd set began. Far side, Taylor Smith connects, and it's 8-4 Atlanta.
Everybody clap your hands.
Well, it's a game of adjustments, and we've already seen Kathy George make a big adjustment to help take sets numbers 3 and 2. Now Kayla Banwarth is looking to return that favor as Snyder picks up a point. Rise is still yet to find that 4th set run. Snyder's at 32%. She's got 12 points. Only Paige Briggs-Romine has more for the Rise. That one ends up going out of bounds. Snyder thought about running around the side of the net to haul it in. Didn't end up trying to do it. Good idea, though. Aiko Jones has 14 on the other side. Leah Edmonds with 13. A lot of action at the pins for the Atlanta Vibe. Turner for Snyder. great dig that time from Taylor Smith. And Aiko Jones sends it too strong. You know, Jones had a really big first set, and they sort of started to work on her and silencing that right arm of a rocket arm she has. Grand Rapids has been stuck in this down by 3, down by 4 conundrum. Let's see if they can find a way. Hence for Snyder. What a play. Taylor Smith, but it's cleaned up by a lunging Al Hassan. 9-7. The Rise get 2 in a row for the first time here in set 4.
Taylor Smith in the back row for the Vibe is incredible. She is running from corner to corner in that middle back spot and just able to get her hands underneath a lot of these hard-driven balls.
Cam Turner. Shields giving it back to Edmond. It is blocked. Al Hassan and Inna blocking one of the best in volleyball. 3 straight for Grand Rapids. Could we potentially be seeing the Rise make their move here in set 4? Turner once more. Far side, Jones, Inna gets down low to keep it going. Hence for Snyder. McKissick tracks it down. Setter dump. Turner returns it back. Inna connects. Point. We're tied at 9. Look out. Here comes the Grand Rapids Rise. It's one of the great things about volleyball. It's such a rhythm-based sport, and things can change on a dime.
And tonight it's been the service line for the Rise. When they're back there serving tough, getting the Vibe out of system, they are getting successful.
Cam Turner has enjoyed the scenery from the stripe here in set 4. Shields. Turner lays out for it. Fight at the net, and this one won by Atlanta. They get back in front, 10-9.
It's
Just a little out of Al Hassan's reach.
Really hard ball for Al Hassan as it's coming right over her back and going in front, so you don't quite know where the net is. You don't want to just jump into it.
Really test that depth perception. PBR digs out the serve. Al Hassan got it in a funny spot. Atlanta gets a chance to rally, and they get it. Just out of the reach of PBR and Turner. So the Vibe are starting to stabilize after that big run for Grand Rapids of 4 in a row. 2 straight for Atlanta. 11-9 Vibe. It's 2-1 Grand Rapids here in the 4th set. Jackie Moore. Good return. Al Hassan bangs one down. And it's those kind of plays that easily get overlooked. The fact that Paige Briggs-Romine was able to do such a nice job off the receive. So they go from Turner at the line to Carly Snyder instead. He sends a missile across. Other side, Edmond. Can't land it. Grand Rapids with a chance to stack points. Paige Briggs-Romine does it. Little confusion in the middle that time, and Atlanta can't get there. We're not at an 11. Carly Snyder coming off Major League Volleyball's Player of the Week award. Consecutive 4-set wins over Indy and Columbus last week, a total of 32 kills. And just a weapon from that service line. Look at Hentz going after it. Inna can't land it, but another chance for Grand Rapids. From distance, Carly Snyder denied by McKissick. Other side, not there. Grand Rapids with a chance to answer back. Briggs-Romine. McKissick getting busy. Libero's really shining on this sequence here in Grand Rapids. Inna punches it over. They look for help from Edmond. Snyder lays out. We roll on. Paige Briggs-Romine, and it comes back. Can Grand Rapids keep it going? Yes, for now they can. Atlanta gets a chance on the offense. Edmond swings and scores. A well-deserved point for the Atlanta Vibe. They're back in front.
That was quite the hustle play, and Carly Snyder just able to get that on that left arm. And then you see Morgan Hens go after that ball, just being able to bring the ball back to the center and get in system again.
Both teams have traded punches here in the fourth set. It's anybody's fourth. Inna swings, and point Grand Rapids. Atlanta in the net that time?
They were.
That's what it looked like. So now we even us up at 12. Ramat Al-Hassan gets a chance for Grand Rapids. There's been a lot of action right there in the center, right there at the net here tonight. Whole lot of defense being played between both sides. And also, we've seen so much in terms of digs on both sides. That one goes as a point for Grand Rapids. 66 in total for Atlanta to the 55 for Grand Rapids. Serve over. What does Atlanta have? How about Aiko Jones? Good play by Al-Hassan. Oblad and Turner ran into one another. Little out of system when Grand Rapids will have another crack at it. Al-Hassan for Paige Briggs-Romine. Chance to recalibrate, get back in system. Berkeley Oblad pounds it down. Boy, the ebbs and flows of volleyball can take you out, in, out, and back in the system at the drop of a hat.
It really does, and it's all about the contact of your first touch. So are you able to get in system? Are you out of system? And how can you make that next ball better?
It's been a real area of strength for Grand Rapids over this 4-match win streak, being able to have that successful first contact and set themselves up for swings that end up in points. Edmond tries to do exactly that. Turner keeps it going. Attack from the net. It's blocked. Aiko Jones. Briggs-Romine really couldn't get what she wanted on that swing. Grand Rapids still holds a 1-point lead. We have yet to see a set go down to the wire, even though it's been close in the early stages, as Inna lands one down with the right. 15-13 Grand Rapids. That's one of the things that Caleb Anwarth was telling us in our conversation with her yesterday, saying that they had been really close over the course of their last 3 matches, but it was almost like watching a rerun. They just continued to have struggles and sort of beat themselves in some of those close and late situations. Shields looking near side. Aiko Jones puts one down for the Atlanta Vibe. They'll try Carly Snyder this time, nothing there. What can Grand Rapids do to try and keep themselves with the lead? Other side, Jones, it is blocked. Oblad, Paige Briggs-Romine, and the Rise take a 2-point lead into the break. That defense showing up just when the Rise need it most. It's a 2-point lead for Grand Rapids, right here on Rise Radio and on Scripps Sports. Back here at Van Andel, 16-14 in set number 4, 2-1. The Rise have taken the last 2 sets, and they get an ace out of the break. Paige Briggs-Romine. Little miscommunication on that Atlanta side. That's a big point for the Rise to take. And if the Rise are able to close this one out, we might look back at that moment right there. And maybe what Grand Rapids can do with it. A chance from the far side. PBR lays out for it. Grand Rapids happy to send it back, but a free ball comes. Carly Snyder had it dug out by who else? Leah Edmond. Other side, nearly a block. And you can see Grand Rapids in that vaunted defense really showing up here in set 4. They'll attack from distance. Inna got underneath it too much. Point goes to Atlanta. So it's Purple Community Night presented by the Van Andel Institute. A lot of the Rise players, if you look at the sideline, you see Morgan Hentz, for example, wearing purple tonight. And it's grassroots fundraising program helping drive breakthroughs in cancer, Parkinson's, and metabolic disease research while inspiring the next generation of scientists. Those jerseys, those warm-ups will be auctioned off after the game tonight. Snyder swings, got it blocked, and somehow Inna's able to keep it going. Snyder taps, somehow some real defense being played as the Vibe dig it out. Slide play, Oblad didn't get what she wanted. Big point up for grabs here. Inna lays out for it, whoa. And they said that that one was
outside of the antenna.
Right. Well, it wasn't for a lack of trying. Inna unable to get it back. Kathy George over to talk about it. You can see Inna's really gasping right now. She can tell she's been really working hard here in the last couple of sets. You know, sometimes other teams make you a priority. You feel like it might not be your night, and you just have to work that much harder in order to find that success.
She's definitely having to work through it tonight with 36 swings, but only 8 kills.
That is a lot of opportunity. We'll see if that comes up big here down the stretch of the 4th set. Atlanta looking to tie it up. Paige Briggs-Romine with a dig. Inna pats it down. It's handled high. And Atlanta, they are saying that it caught a high hand of a member of the Rise, and I think Kayla Banwarth is going to challenge this.
Atlanta is challenging.
Didn't miss hitting the line by much. So now Landry Homsher letting us all know that this point is still up for review. Either the Rise will have a 2-point lead or we'll be all even at 17.
Taylor Smith came down and was very, very confident that her swing got a piece of the hand of a Rise player.
After review, the challenge was successful.
And looks like the challenge was successful. It did get that, looks like her forearm.
You can see why it was called the way it was in real time, because you're usually looking for it to make contact with the fingertips, not so much with the forearm. Aiko Jones for Atlanta. Too strong. They end up getting the point on the review. They give it back on the service error. Substitution, Grand Rapids going to get Allison Mayfield in off the bench. Serving sub for Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids with a big point to go get. Atlanta fighting forward as well. Al Hassan tried to kind of bear claw to the corner, but it was handled. And this time, Taylor Smith able to knot us up at 18. She gets the point back for the Vibe. Still a lot to play for, especially on the Grand Rapids side. Atlanta would need just about everything to go right for them and everything to go wrong for all the teams in front of them. Cam Turner. She's been doing a lot of things right for Grand Rapids. Little setter dump puts the Rise back in front. Sends it back to Turner, who was really involved at the service line during that 3rd set. Rise are sort of making a habit out of rallying after a 1st set struggle. They did that a week ago against the Indy Ignite. They actually had done it a second time as well after playing Indy a couple of weeks prior. They have not let those first set struggles phase them. Leah Edmonds swings and scores. I think that one caught the loose hand of Paige Briggs-Roma and couldn't really tuck it in. I don't know if it was going to go out of bounds anyway.
It's a tough call because you also don't know if it hit one of the players' hands, if they saw a touch from back there.
Pia Timmer's back in for the Vibe. She'll serve. Turner, Hens, Briggs-Romine, Snyder, Al Hassan, and Anna for GR. Timmer, Jones, Edmund, Mendelson. Some of the members of the Vibe still out there trying to get themselves even to a fifth set. As Shields attacks from the middle and scores. Atlanta gets in front.
Now, I was wondering when Shields was going to pull that back out of her pocket. She has such an aggressive, hard left-handed swing.
So it goes to a 1-point Vibe lead. It's been about at this juncture where a team has pulled forward. Pia Timmer gets the point. Kathy George says it's time for a timeout. So they want to talk about it, don't want this to get any farther away because it's been around this point in every set tonight where we've seen a team really take the set by the stranglehold. Now can Grand Rapids find a way to dig themselves out? That becomes the question now. We were talking about some of the auction items for Grand Rapids. The purple warm-up jackets that are worn by the players tonight. The coaches also are wearing some of those purple jackets tonight. It's also an online auction hosted through Dash. That'll go all the way. It started at 10 a.m. and is going to run through 8 p.m. on Saturday, April the 25th. That'll conclude during the regular season finale for Grand Rapids. They'll be here coming up on Saturday. The Orlando Valkyries, the defending champs of Major League Volleyball, will be here for one last match in 2026. Pia Timmer once again. Briggs-Romine, Turner, and Al Hassan out of the timeout, taking the point. That's just about the exact way Kathy George would have drew this up.
Turner puts it right in Al Hassan's hand, and she's able to get her full reach on that ball, which makes it very challenging on the defensive side to get under that because she is reaching so high.
Now you go to the other side and you get Carly Snyder to serve. Comes right back. Al Hassan cashes in! Tied at 21. The wicked shot from the stripe, and Al Hassan with the slam. They've evened it up. It's up for grabs now. It's a race to 25. Turner, Hens, Briggs-Romine, cuts it across, lands it! 3 straight in crunch time for Grand Rapids. Timeout, Atlanta. It never gets old watching the sport of volleyball because you never know when the next run is in store. Grand Rapids just turned the tables on the Atlanta Vibe.
And you can feel it in the arena, the electricity. All the fans are really into this game. Just puts a little extra something behind you.
We're talking about the game coming up on Saturday. That's Orlando. It's a 7 o'clock start. We'll be on the radio side beginning at 6:45 with Rise pregame. Hope you join us for that one. That'll be our season finale for the 2026 regular season campaign. And boy, with the way the season started for Grand Rapids, losing 7 of their first 9, who would have thought we'd be in a spot like this? A huge point up for grabs. Carly Snyder swings. Edmond just lucky to get enough of it. Attack from distance, hits inside the corner. Point for the Vibe. 22 all thanks to Aiko Jones. Shields to serve. Who can find the next 3 points? That's the next question. Al Hassan didn't get it where she wanted to. Fight on the other side. It comes back to Atlanta. Jones swings. Snyder is there. Turner looking for attack. From distance, Snyder connects. Carly Snyder coming up big when it matters most for the Grand Rapids Rise. Serving sub, Grand Rapids. Here comes Camila Gomez. Into the net. That's the second time Camila Gomez has put one into the tape. That's got to be frustrating for the talented libero. So now it's a race to whoever has the next 2-point lead. Turner, Anna. Too strong. That has been an unfortunate theme tonight for Elizabeth Enna. She's not been able to get her hand on top of that ball. And now Atlanta's got a chance to bring it home and force us to 5. Turner, Briggs-Romine needs it, and somehow Atlanta digs it out. They'll try her again. PBR, got it blocked! Aiko Jones, and we're going to a 5th and final set here in Beer City. Set 5 when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We've got a good one brewing in Beer City on Rise Radio and Script Sports. Grand Rapids Rise and volleyball.
If you love the speed, the power, the pure electricity of NCAA volleyball, experience it at the next level with the Atlanta Vibe. Watch world-class athletes firing rockets from the service line, diving for impossible saves, and battling point for point in the most exciting volleyball atmosphere anywhere. Catch the vibe and get tickets now.
It's not just a sport, it's a calling. At Spalding, we've spent years crafting high-quality equipment that honors that passion. As the official net system supplier to Major League Volleyball, we're proud to support the game at its highest level, where precision, durability, and performance matter most. Because when you give your all, you deserve equipment that does too. Spalding Volleyball, trusted by generations, built for champions.
An entire season, all building to this.
Point, championship point.
All or nothing stakes on the biggest stage, and there can only be one
For
champ.
it all. Orlando wins the championship. The $1 million matches.
It's the biggest moment in Major League Volleyball, and there's only one chance to witness it live. The Major League Volleyball semifinals and championship at Comerica Center, May 7th and 9th. Tickets available now.
Back here in Grand Rapids, all even 2 sets apiece, getting ready for set number 5. Well, how about the Atlanta Vibe? Never say die attitude for the Atlanta Vibe so far.
They did not give up at all. There was a little bit of a run that the Rise went on, and then they came and backed it up. All started off with Pia Timmer's ace.
We are going to a 5th and final set. It is the volleyball equivalent of overtime. Instead of 25, it's the 1st to 15. Every point matters that much more. So Carly Snyder starts at the service line for the Rise. That goes as a point for Atlanta to start us off. Well, we were just talking about this during the break. So if the Rise are unable to win this one tonight, they're not mathematically eliminated, Katie?
They aren't, because they still have 2 matches after tonight's game. So if they win both of those, could put them at 13. But then so are the San Diego Mojo and the Supernovas. So it's a lot about who. Then it's up to chance.
Then the Rise would have to hope that the tiebreakers would be in their favor. They might be against San Diego. It doesn't sound like they'll get that against the Supernovas. Not getting what they want. Meanwhile, Hentz dives to keep that one going. Paige Briggs Romine. Oh, that one was headed out of bounds. Grand Rapids got a favor done that time. We'll try it with Jones. Turner, Hentz, they want PBR. Swings and kept alive. It's down. Mendelson couldn't get there, and that's a hard-fought first point for Grand Rapids. The Rise are going to have to hope that this game breaks from tradition right here. The team that scored the first point in every set went on to win that set. Atlanta got the first point here in the 5th.
Looks like Leah Edmond might have came down a little wrong. She's trying to walk off whatever just happened there. I did see them wiping the floor a little bit. So hopefully she's all right. We could have tweaked something.
Well, you don't need us to tell you that Leah Edmond's one of the unstoppable forces in Major League Volleyball. And this time, they connect into the corner. Point goes to Atlanta. It's 2-1. And that's going to send Edmond to the service line. So we'll get an idea on how she is feeling based on how she lets this one go. Grand Rapids getting it done with Snyder. And now the question becomes, you see the grimace on Edmond's face, is if Grand Rapids makes it a point to attack her with their offense. She might be able to swing, but it's a whole nother ballgame getting down and get low to the ground. And see if you can play that same defense. It's been really good for her all night. Other side, Jones scores. Point Atlanta, 3-2. Maggie Mendelson goes to serve for the Vibe. 10 errors on the Atlanta side, 8 for Grand Rapids. Paige Briggs Romine keeping it alive, but not long enough. Another point for Atlanta. They've got a 2-point lead in this 1st to 15. And we get a substitution here. Elizabeth Inna is coming out for Grand Rapids, and in for her is Danielle Harbin, recently signed by the Rise, former Arkansas Razorback. They try a slide play, and Oblad knocks it through. Interesting to see in a 5th and deciding set, Kathy George pull the lever right now.
Inna's not putting forth too much in that back row, so Kathy George is looking for an answer and also having an offensive option as well.
Could that be what solves this difficult equation? Harbin with a dig that time. Hentz tried to keep it going, but could not. I think that one sort of found Harbin.
It's a pretty challenging role to come in a 5th set where you haven't played since you warmed up almost, what are we at, about 2 hours ago?
9 years of pro volleyball, Italy, Germany, Switzerland among her stops. And she had gotten into a handful of matches before this run. She got into the one at Columbus as well, so they're giving her another opportunity with a whole lot riding on it. Grand Rapids with a gotta have it point. Carly Snyder locks it in. Berkeley Oblad gets a chance at the service line. So a big change for Kathy George here in set 5, bringing Harbin in to try and help close it out. opposite side. Oblad gets it over. She bumps it through, and we're tied at 5. Oh my goodness.
So you see that was a short set, and they had to go over with their left hand, and Oblad was just there lucky enough to get that bump kill.
She's back at the line, slaps it over. It's a chance for Taylor Smith. Good play by Harbin to keep it going. Turner for Snyder, kept alive. They recalibrate. Harbin taps and scores! Danielle Harbin! 3 in a row for the Rise, and the move is paying off for Kathy George. Timeout, Atlanta, to talk about it. Boy, talk about some unconventional points all of a sudden for Grand Rapids.
Very much so, taking advantage of the unexpected. And then Harbin coming in the 5th set, just with her eyesight. You know, that's the one positive you have from sitting the first 4 sets, is you get to watch the game and see the court from what you can't see while you're on the court. And that spot was the perfect spot.
I can't help but think about the fact that Grand Rapids has had so many opportunities in this match to get points that have been a great dig here or there, or something that would happen to go in a way that maybe wouldn't have gone the same way the last 4 matches for Grand Rapids. Atlanta has brought a lot of outstanding defense here tonight, but maybe that's exactly what Grand Rapids needs if they're going to get to the finish line here in set 5. The breaks have been a little more few and far between on the Grand Rapids side, save for the ball that went off the foot of Cam Turner to end set 4. Nearly a block. It's kept alive momentarily. Paige Briggs-Romine looking for Snyder, who swings. And Atlanta, a chance to recalibrate. Aiko Jones, not there. Can the Rise knock one down? McKissick finds a way through. Taylor Smith. Rise look to attack with Snyder. She scores! Carly Snyder! 7-5, the Rise get a hard-fought point for a 2-point lead. Rise desperately need this one as they get a block from Al Hassan. Might have gone into the tape. Either way, the Rise take another point. And we will flip sides. We'll go to the other ends with this 8-5 Grand Rapids lead. All right, so if you're Grand Rapids, you're finding a way. We'll tell you more about that when we come back on Scripps Sports.
Pony Club.
The Grand Rapids Rise just a handful of points away from improving their postseason odds significantly. A fight at the net, kept alive momentarily. Atlanta needs to recalibrate. Taylor Smith able to swing and score. The former Florida State Seminole going to the service line after knocking one through that tough Grand Rapids defense.
Smith has really came alive in these last 2 sets. She has 15 digs and her 12th kill.
It's been a team effort on that Atlanta side. As a team, they've hit 23%. Both teams actually sitting at that same efficiency. But 82-73, Atlanta's dug out a few more than Grand Rapids. Trying to beat them at their own game tonight. Turner looking for Al Hassan inside the corner. 10-ball corner pocket. 9-6, the Rise are up 3. Cam Turner gets it across. Atlanta needs a point. It's dug out. Big point to be had if the Rise can get it. And they do! Carly Snyder! The player of the week coming up big here in the 5th.
She's so good at using those high hands and just getting it out of reach of Taylor Smith.
4-point lead for Grand Rapids. And you got to give Kathy George a whole lot of credit. Did not see her team find a lot of success in a disappointing first set. Made some adjustments, got the next 2. Grand Rapids then gave up set 4. And then after struggling out of the gate here in the 5th, as Atlanta takes a point back, makes it a 3-point Rise lead. She made a tough call, taking Elizabeth Inna out and bringing Danielle Harbin in, someone who has been very lightly used for this Grand Rapids Rise team. And in a situation where, for lack of a better phrase, their season hangs in the balance, they are seeing if they can get a spark. Carly Snyder gets a point for Grand Rapids. And they'll put Snyder to the service line. Pia Timmer comes out. Ellie McKissick back in for Atlanta. And when Carly Snyder's on that line, you need all the defensive help you can get. Wicked shot, Shields, Mendelson to the middle, kept alive. Hence wants Harbin, swings and mishits out of bounds. Well, I got to give her credit. She's pouring it all out there here in this last set. Coming in off the bench, she's done some nice things so far. Couldn't line that one up. Can the Rise get it back for her? Turner leaving it for Al Hassan. Point Grand Rapids, it's up to 4. McKissick and Smith, they thought the other one was going to go after it. I think Smith had a clear lane for it.
It's so hard because both of them are leading their team with 20 and 15 digs, so it's very, very rare that neither of them are touching it.
Camila Gomez serving sub. She's had some issues serving today. Got it across this time. Handled. A lot of traffic. Snyder looking for PBR and is blocked. Maggie Mendelson. Atlanta's hopes still alive here in the 5th. Leah Edmond to serve for the Vibe. Turner looking near side. Harbin scores for Grand Rapids. Danielle Harbin. What a story unfolding here in set number 5. We hadn't seen her all game.
For player of the game.
This one comes back. Snyder goes back towards Atlanta. Smith swings. It's blocked. Turner and Oblad. (14-9). Grand Rapids trying to put this one in the win column. This one catches a high hand and Atlanta takes the point. Well, this match has had a little bit of everything. serving sub. Ava Martin comes in for the Vibe. They are standing in Grand Rapids. Briggs Romine, Turner, Oblad for the win! 5 in a row for the Grand Rapids Rise. One step closer to the postseason. Three to 2, the final. Grand Rapids, they were pushed to the limit tonight here in Beer City. The Rise have certainly saved their best for last here in 2026, and given what we've seen over the last couple of years, we saw this Rise team get on a run a lot like this one down the stretch in 2024. They rode that all the way to the championship in Major League Volleyball. One quick timeout, then we'll come back. We're expecting to hear from the head coach, Kathy George, when we return. The Rise win it 3-2. Their playoff hopes still going here on Rise Radio and Scripps Sports.
Club.